And welcome to episode 30 of Movies and Us. I'm TJ.
I'm Marcus.
Who doesn't want to be here right now?
God, hold on, I'm yawning. That was...
Who doesn't want to be here? Hello!
And welcome to episode number 30 of Movies and Us. This is movie... Okay, sorry.
Did you want to run through this one? I'll let you run through it.
No.
I don't think so.
10-minute review if I run through this one.
Alright. Try this for a fourth time. Hello! And welcome to episode 30 of Movies and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Marcus.
Oh, God.
That's not too forced.
Yeah, you really don't want to be here today.
No, I do. I'm actually low-key, kind of high-key excited for this review.
Okay, and this is the review show that reviews genre movies from the beginning, sometimes. I'm not doing this for a fifth time, this intro again, so... Today, we are doing the 2000 release of GEN13. I don't... Why?
Wait, is it 2000?
Yeah!
Why does it say 1980 or 1998 on it?
Because it was...
Okay, I see it.
It was screened for the general public in Wizard World, Chicago on July 17th, 1998. However, for some apparent reason, it wasn't released until 2000, but it was never released in the United States. And
where was it released?
It was released in Europe and... Let me see. To Europe and Australia, and was aired on Russian TV.
Really?
But it was not aired on Russian TV until August 1st, 2010. It never got released here in the U.S. And for good reason.
What's a good reason? What's a good reason?
I mean, I just don't see this being released in the U.S.
Honestly, no.
This movie is not what I expected going into it.
Yeah, same. Like a minute into it, like, oh, this is a different route we're going. Okay.
Yeah, I thought, because this was... I thought we were going like Ben 10 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's because it's kind of drawn that way.
Exactly.
But it's not that at all. Not even close. And then when I looked into it, I understood why. What's really surprising is that it was originally pitched as a movie by Disney Studios.
I wish. There's no way they put their hands on this.
They did that, and it said in the mid-90s, the owner of Wildstorm put his company on the market because his book sales began to climb. We'll get into that in a minute. But during this period of time, Disney expressed interest in developing a GEN13 film.
Oh, okay, so this would have been radically different.
The film project was already in production when he ended up selling the company to Time Warner, but Disney then decided to shelve the film because they didn't want to market a film with Time Warner's name on it. So they made this film.
Because there's scenes in this movie that are totally not Disney, but there's also scenes in the movie that are not Disney, but look like Disney are trying to fix it to own it, kind of, if that makes sense. So I could totally see them making it their own.
Well, it's weird because this comic book adaptation was... I had so much trouble finding this movie.
Yeah, it was impossible to find.
So I ended up finding it on an anime site of all places where you stream anime. And I guess because it was never released in the US, it wasn't put anywhere. But it's also based on a comic book, the comic book Gen 10, which was developed by Wildstorm, which was originally released under the banner of Image Comics, which is a different comic book company.
Oh.
So you would think they would be under that list. But with Image Comics, they were a bunch of artists and creators who did not like... this is all explained in the comic book podcast that I did on the other one, by the way, but I'm going to explain it here too. But they... comic book artists and writers didn't like the fact that when they worked for Marvel and DC Comics, they didn't own their characters. Marvel and DC owned their characters.
Yes.
So essentially, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 studios, or 6 artists made 6 different studios under the banner of Image Studios. Todd McFarlane, who does Spawn, Eric Larson. I'm not sure who did. His most famous thing is Savage Dragon. I don't know if you know who he is. Probably not.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Shadowline, owned by Jim Valentino, which did his most popular one was Shadowhawk, which is very. I don't think anybody even know who Shadowhawk is. You have to be really into comics to even understand who that is.
Yeah, I know a character like that from My Hero Academia, but that's about it.
Extreme Studios by Rob Liefeld created Extreme Studios. His most popular one in that one was Young Guns, but he's also big name around comics. He worked for both DC and Marvel at one time.
Okay.
And the last company is by Mark Silvestri with Top Cow Productions. Top Cow Productions, I actually like. They do Witchblade.
What's that?
And it's about a woman who gets like this. It's almost like a gauntlet, an alien gauntlet that turns into different things. It's very scantily drawn, though.
Okay.
But I do like the story in it. But they also did the very early Tomb Raider comics, the first ones.
There's Tomb Raider comics?
Yeah, there's a lot of Tomb Raider comics.
What?
Yeah, Lara Croft was a big thing in the 90s when she came out, so everybody wanted to sexualize her.
Yeah, true. That's fair.
So, is that. But we're focusing on Jim Lee and Wildstorm Productions today, which did this. GEN13, and they did Stormwatch and Wildcats. I'll get to
really?
it. You don't know who that is. Shut up.
No, Wildcats?
Yeah, you know who Wildcats are?
I think so.
I don't think you do. I think you're thinking of Thundercats.
No, I hate Thundercats.
But they're also, not only are they known for those characters, which I will get to and I'm back to in a moment, but they also had a bunch of licensed property. They did Friday the 13th comics, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, StarCraft. Also, the Dante Inferno game, apparently, the X-Files, and the God of War game series.
Wow. But
the reason why Stormwatch or any of those things would sound familiar to you is because DC actually bought Wildstorm. So that's why it's in DC's list and not in Marvel's list, because, Disney had their hand in it, but it was also owned by Warner Media. So this movie, that's why it's in DC and not an Image Comics list.
Honestly, that's really fascinating to me, because it's like this has been all over the place.
Yeah, there's a lot of history behind this that I had to freaking look into, and it was annoying.
There's something special about this. I wonder why it went so from one hand to the other hand to another.
But there's a lot to the backstory of Gen13. And I've never even heard of Gen13, because I'm not big on Image Comics. I never liked Youngblood or any of that stuff. I said, I am mild at best on Spawn. On the other podcast I did, the comic podcast, we did the first 2 issues of Spawn, and I'm not a fan. But
you're racist.
Yes, that's exactly why. But also, but I did like Top Cow Productions, which is Witchblade and Tomb Raider and stuff like that. I think they also did The Darkness too, if you guys know what that is, but I'm not 100% on that one. And so, I never heard of Gen13, which is, I also heard of Stormwatch and all those guys because I read DC Comics a lot. Even especially the newer stuff, and even to this day, characters from Stormwatch, like Midnighter and Apollo, are still appearing in DC Comics to this day. So, but I've never heard of Gen13, and when I first looked up the comic, I was like, this doesn't look right. Because it was Image Comics, and it looked a little sexualized, because all Image Comics kind of were at that time, and I was like, this does not look like the movie I'm about to watch, so I'm not going to go in it. Then I watched the movie, and I was like, oh, this was that.
Yeah.
So I went back and I read the first issue of the comic, and there's a few minor changes that we'll get into from it, but but honestly, they kind of followed closely to not really closely, but the basic structure of what happened in this movie is the first 5 comics of this series, essentially. Okay.
That's a lot you went through.
So with all that being said, let's get into what this movie is. So this movie is 86 minutes. We already discussed when it came out. It was directed by Kevin Altair? I don't know.
Yeah, nope, not me.
Screenplays also by him and Karen Colas. Story by Jim Lee, Brandon Chow, and J. Scott Campbell, which is the guys from the comics. Those are the guys behind GEN13, so it makes sense. And it's starring Alicia Witt, John DeLancey, E.G. Daly, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah. He's grunge.
Yeah, he's grunge. Cloris Leachman.
Yep, as Helga.
Lauren Lane, and Mark Hamill.
That was Mark. Oh my god, yeah, that was Mark Hamill. Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's got a pretty big cast to it. All right, are we ready to actually dive into this now?
Yeah. No, that's a great cast to this, honestly. It's weird that there's like the big names and like no one's ever heard of this movie.
Yeah.
Or at least we haven't heard of it.
But the voice acting's not great either, though.
You noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it first came on, like, why is this sound? It sounded like the sound mixing was, like, missing a layer of something.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Hamill's great, but...
Yeah.
And Cloris Leachman's great, but...
Everyone else, like, oh,
it's kind of like, and Flea's kind of terrible.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah. Not kind of, he is terrible. He should stick to his, is he a drummer?
I think he's a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe he's the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, bassist.
Bassist, yeah. Someone who's not a vocalist. That's terrible.
I mean, he's got a microphone in front of him. Maybe he does sing.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe he should stick to that, though.
The director of this, I'm looking at it, he did The Mask of the Phantasm. He's one of the directors on that. He helped with the Batman animated series as well. Interesting. Well, yeah, let's get to this.
All right, so we open up with a computer telling us about some mission that happened.
Want to read it?
Nope.
Read it for the audience.
You read it. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, it says Elite Forces, Confidential, Level 5. Alert! Gen 12 test subject Stephen Callahan has gone rogue. Failure to surrender Prodigy, whatever the hell that is. That's
Prodigy, his child.
Okay. Retrieve, dead or alive. Using extreme caution, Callahan has manifest the gene factor. He is registered with an internal operations as a super-powered being, SPB, as these people are called. Last seen with ex-wife Rachel Callahan, retrieve, dead or alive.
And so we really open with a car chase as a car is being chased by a helicopter. It crashes, and then the helicopter shoots the mom, because it's a mom. A mom, a dad, child, like a boy kid, like 6, and then an infant girl. And they shoot the mom, and this is where we discover, okay, this is not the movie we thought we were getting.
Yeah.
It's bloody.
It's like, they actually shot her down, and they show the gun shooting her. It's like, I was not expecting any of this to happen, but okay.
Yep. And then the dad hulks out, and I guess uses some kind of mental sonic wave beam or something.
Something. They don't really explain anyone's powers in this.
Anyway, he uses it and destroys one of the helicopters, but another one shows up, and he tells his son, "Take your sister and run away."
Question real quick.
Yes.
Is there a TV show to this, or is it just comics?
I think it's just comics.
Okay, because this felt like a TV movie, like they're setting up for a movie series. Or TV series.
Yeah, I don't think this would have made it to TV.
No. And that's my other question. When I was watching this, like, who was this made for?
That was my question. I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah? I was like, it's definitely not made for kids. And it's not adult humor either, because there's a lot of fart jokes and all that shit, too. Like, so what audience is this for?
Horny teenage boys.
That's like the preteen, like not preteens, but the PG-13 and kids, I guess.
I think they're going for what the anime makers think their audience is.
Because it's like a crossover between heavy metal and I had another comparison, but it's like very like a prequel to heavy metal. Like, it's very scantily clad women, like you said, and just dumb childlike humor. Yeah,
but there's a lot of blood and serious things happening.
Exactly. So, like, what's going on? But anyway, let's get back to the
like
I'm
they took the serious. Well, I don't want to say serious comics because Image Comics at the time wasn't. It's not a very good first comic. I'm just saying that. Yeah. So, but I mean, there's serious things in it. I guess you know what I mean. Like the subject matter is serious, but if you ever read any of Youngblood, you would know what I'm talking about.
The delivery is more.
Yeah, it's not that great.
Yes.
Anyway, he tells his kid to run, and then the dad dies. And yep.
And the kid's captured by the.
Oh, right. No, I was just trying to read my notes there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the kid runs away with his infant sister, but the guys are after him, but he falls off of a waterfall, I guess. I don't know how he missed it. He looked like he was walking in the stream, but he falls down this giant waterfall.
Oh, so dumb.
And when he washes up, his infant sister's not in his arms anymore, and she's washed down a whirlpool.
And she's dead.
Because
there's no way an infant will survive that.
This is one of the things that are different from that first comic.
Okay.
The sister is actually the same age as the brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the brother and sister are actually villains in the comic.
I like that.
And the sister isn't who the sister is in this.
Is she the other character, I guess? Who we'll get to later with the arm.
Yeah, I think so, but it was very vague, and sometimes I was reading and I was like, is this the same character or is this a different character? Okay. So I couldn't tell.
See, now I'm thinking, because they reference Star Wars a lot in this, and I think that's why
they reference it so much.
Like, too many times. Like, okay, we get it, guys, we get it. Like, I think that's why they probably did the age difference, because I was watching this opening sequence, I was thinking, this reminds me a lot like Luke and Leia a little bit. Like a blonde-haired white kid. I didn't even think it was Mark Hamill until he just told me, so that makes even more sense now.
That's probably why there's so many Star Wars references in it.
Exactly. But
I just put that together right now. Oh yeah, Mark Hamill in this movie. It makes sense that there's Star Wars references all over the place.
Exactly. But I was thinking, you don't want a brother and sister together, I guess, as the main protagonist, antagonists. It looks like it's like an alternate universe of Luke and Leia. Like a path they could have taken. That's what I felt.
I don't know. All I know is that that's all nothing but a flashback, essentially.
Yeah.
Because then we cut the DNA credits.
Very bad.
Credits over bad CGI DNA strands. And when the edits credit, we wake up in the future with Caitlin Fairchild?
Yes. Caitlin Fairchild. Yeah, Caitlin Fairchild.
And she wakes up in her dorm room, right?
Yes. And now I was going to ask you, did they age them up or down for this movie?
No, they look about the same age.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it looks right. But, Caitlin's in college. She's got a slutty roommate. And I don't mean that to be sexist or anything. That's how they portray her. She's in her underwear most of the time.
Well, I want to call her slutty.
Like, I wouldn't call her slutty myself, but that's what the movie's telling me.
I said I never got slutty. She's not a teenage. She's a college kid that's sleeping in and has a boyfriend.
No, she's sleeping with, 3 different people in this.
Does she have 3 different people?
It's, 3 different people. She says it's a different name every time.
Oh, I respect that.
So, they want us to know. They want us to know that she's slutty.
She's doing college right. That's what she's doing.
I'm not arguing with you, and I'm not even knocking it, but this movie is telling us this because she is not the example we're supposed to be leading up to. This is the bad girl. That's what the movie's telling me.
Yeah, you're right.
So she's late for school because her roommate got in at 3 a.m. and didn't want to wake up at 6. And I'm pretty sure you can pick different classes that you don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, nowadays you can. I don't know about in the 90s.
Maybe she's just a morning person. I don't know.
Who, the girl or the other girl?
The girl that's late. The main character.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Caitlin goes to her school, and she's intercepted by this giant soldier guy who says, here's a brochure. You've been accepted into something, some Genesis program or something like that. And think about it. And he walks away. And she's like, okay.
So random.
This is actually done better in the movie because in the comics, it's a bunch of FBI guys and they show up at her dorm room at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, you've been accepted into the intern program. Come with us. And she's like, what about school? We'll take care of that. And then the next scene, she's there.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
It's like, okay. So she's in class learning about Caesar, and this is where we learn she's smarter than the teacher. And then she goes back to her dorm room where she's locked out because her roommate's having sex with another guy, and yeah, because this is where she decides that she's gonna take the job and go to this internship and stuff. So she gets on a plane, and she's into this military complex.
See, that's still weird to me though. Like schooling, she's paying for that, isn't she? Like how's she like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just I don't
It's
know.
in the middle of the semester. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
I mean, I guess unless the military's paying for everything now.
I guess
I don't know. This movie doesn't make any sense.
it really does.
So we go, we get to the military complex, and they got advanced technology, and they're walking up the steps, and then we get introduced to Jack Black.
Jack Black.
He comes running out with a stupid eagle tattoo over his
Oh,
chest.
I thought first we'd meet Helga first.
Oh, I skipped over Helga because she's not important.
That's Cloris Leachman, man.
Yeah, but her character is not important. Cloris Leachman is the guide to the school, and she's like this heavy-set Swedish lady or something who really loves her students, even though she's experimenting on them.
Makes no fucking sense.
No.
It's so dumb.
She's just like supposed to be a sympathetic character in this, but she's kind of the bad guy too.
Yeah, like you can't root for her.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. Like halfway through the movie, like they're like, what are the villains trying to do in this? Like, what's the point of their fucking project? And by the end of it still made no sense to me. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. Anyway, Jack Black's running away from nurses because he doesn't like shots.
That is Jack Black, you're right. Totally.
He looks. If you ever played, I forget what the game.
Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend. Yeah, he looks like Jack Black's character from Brutal Legend, except he's got the stupid eagle tattoo on his chest.
No, I think it's supposed to be Asian in this, or Asian or something, right? Because his name's something along the lines.
Shan or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. It's really hard when even in anime when they don't because they don't really draw the anime characters as Japanese.
Yeah,
you know,
they make him more like a Caucasian, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, it's more Caucasian, and but their names are usually Japanese, and that's how you're
Yes.
supposed to decipher that they are.
Exactly. But also, Flea's playing this. Maybe he is white. Who knows?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's Jack Black. But as soon as but he crashes into Caitlin, and at the bottom of the sets we get introduced to Roxy, and you can tell she's a '90s character because all she does is smoke.
That's what she is. She likes to dress in pink and purple and smoke cigarettes. That's her trait.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut over to Cyclops,
Cyclops.
or Mark Hamill in this case.
Yeah, he plays
Marcus?
Matthew.
So Cyclops and Mark Hamill's doing martial arts training with some who's supposed to be a master, and he's all arrogant and cocky. And then the martial arts master gets one up on him and laughs at him. And so Cyclops uses his telekinetic powers to break his leg. Because apparently he has telekinetic powers now. But in the comic, he's fighting 3 martial artists, and instead of breaking one guy's leg, he explodes his brains.
Oh my god.
Yep.
See, wow. See, that's awesome. If they would have went like straight R with this movie, I think it'd be more enjoyable. Because although like him breaking the guy's leg was still pretty graphic, it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, I don't need to see that.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I would love to see like that.
But they do that later, which is strange.
I know. So like, who was this movie for?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
I have no idea. It's no wonder why it never got released.
Yeah, so it has an identity crisis for sure.
Anyway, we get a training montage for the 3 kids, Jack Black, Roxy Smoker, and Caitlin. And they're, it's pretty much boot camp with classes.
Yeah, it's just X-Men's meet, whatever. Save Private Ryan, I guess. Not even. During the montage, you find out that Caitlin's a good fighter, apparently.
And that she's getting headaches.
Yes.
Because they're trying to make them show powers. I think they're
trying to trigger. Wait, now, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, what you're trying to say, go ahead.
Okay, I don't want to get because the program's trying to trigger the powers in these kids. There's a term for that we're using later.
Some gene activate or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're all kids of people who were in a previous program, GEN13. That all had superpowers, apparently.
And apparently you can pass it down to the next generation.
So after the montage, we get a shower scene.
Well, it's literally, I have to write my notes, the steamiest shower scene ever.
But there's
Comically steamy.
There's some nudity in it. You can see stuff.
Oh yeah, but the whole, you gotta look.
It's really bad to see.
Not that I'm trying to say I'm looking for animated titties, but
we get that later.
Yeah, we do. For some, it's why. Why hide it here?
I know. I don't show it later. That's my point.
Why have the shower scene with the whole camera? The camera is just covered in smoke, and the water's so loud over the audio. Why have it here? Why not just have it afterwards?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know why these decisions were made at any point in this movie.
It would cut from Caitlin, you can kind of barely see between the water and the steam. Then it would cut to Roxy, who you can't see at all. Why is this a thing?
Oh no, you're the one that made me watch this movie, so.
I'm glad we did, honestly.
I forgot to mention, we got Mark Hamill's the bad guy, and he's working for this lady who's like Jessica Rabbit-ish.
Yes.
And they're bad guys. So, and I'm only bringing this up because there's a camera in the shower that they're watching these girls bathe in. So that's
camera there?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
How did I miss that?
They zoom out of the shower scene from the camera to show that they're the bad guys.
Oh yeah, they do. That's weird.
So anyway, all the kids are in the room and they're like studying and stuff. And then the smoke gets pulled out and they're all knocked out by this gas. And then they're taken and being experimented on. But some guy is showed up. I only called his name as Jack.
That's more than I got.
Yeah, it's he was a Gen13 member, and he's sympathetic to the kids because he doesn't want them to have to go through this. So he's coming there to make sure that they're not like experimenting on them and stuff. He's supposed to be the good guy. In the comic that I read, he's just seemed like one of the bad guys who was looking for his son. He didn't seem to like try to stop this or anything. He does ask them to join him at the end, like they did in this one. It didn't seem like he was actively helping them either. So we cut back into a flashback again, where we see the kid who washing up on shore without his sister, and he is captured by this organization. And this is where we find out that Cyclops is Caitlin's brother, or Mark Hamill is Caitlin's brother. Dun 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 dun!
Bum bum bum. Which is so obvious in my opinion.
I didn't pick up on it because I was not paying that much attention.
What?
I really didn't. I was like, I mean, I did pick up on it, but I wasn't like when it was happening. I wasn't saying, "Oh, that's her brother," and I was like, when it was done and over, it was like, "Oh yeah, that was obvious."
What?
You know what I mean? It wasn't. I wasn't actively thinking it. I wasn't engaged enough to be actively like.
The only reason why it was so obvious because in the beginning, the mom says, "Run, Matthew," my little blonde-haired kid, and next to Matthew, we see who's blonde-haired is him. It's like, oh, must be him then. They didn't try hiding it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they never said the little girl's name.
I didn't need that. I just figured he's holding a little girl. His name's Matthew. He's blonde. The main character is this girl who's also redheaded. So it's supposed to be 2 and 2.
All I'm saying is if you read the comic, you would think differently.
No, that's fair. But you read a comic afterwards, right?
I did read it.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, it could have went a different way.
No, it could have. It could have.
Then what happened next?
So the lunch scene, it looks like. Yeah, there's a flashback of Waterfall. The kids are back in the rooms. The next day happens.
And what happens?
They have breakfast. She's barfing because she's having visions of her breakfast being tainted, I guess. But the guy saves her from falling, whatever his name is.
Oh, because she's throwing up and stuff now.
Yeah. She's introduced them. They have their first introduction to each other.
Right. Okay. And so after the lunch scene, she's back in her room and the headaches are getting worse and she's throwing up and stuff. And right? Is that where we are?
That's exactly what happens. Yep.
Okay. And so she leaves her room and she is looking for the infirmary and she's lost and she stumbles upon a computer room that's just conveniently left open, which happens in the comics too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And she gets in there and she finds conveniently that her father's name is on the computer screen. So she sits down on it and starts typing it in. They don't tell you in this movie, but in the comics, she's actually a computer scientist. That's what she's going to school for.
I mean, she's obviously really smart, so that makes sense.
And so she's looking at it, and then Jack Black comes in and scares her. And then Roxy comes in, and they're just there, I guess.
Well, they were there at night getting sneaky snacks for Grunk.
Yeah, but they specifically go to that spot, apparently.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah, I don't know. In the comics, they implied that they sneak off together down here to be together.
Which makes sense because there have been signs of that in the movie. But you think they would just say that?
But it builds up in the movie. It's not already happening.
Yeah.
And then the stormtroopers come in because that's what they might as well be called.
I mean, they call them in that one time.
And they're dressed in black instead of white, essentially. And they go about abusing these kids who are like, we got lost. We were just here.
Yeah.
They start beating them and stuff like that. And then the girl gets really mad and hulks out like her dad did. Only this time she shows her breast.
Why?
It's full nudity.
Why?
And they put on like the Jack Black as of her shirt, and she kind of looks like one of those jungle women from like Land of the Lost or something.
Yes, like that. yes.
Because like her I guess underwear are all torn and stuff like that, and
her hair is all crazy.
Yeah. What's funny is in the comics the nudity isn't there. It's just her shirt's ripped. They don't show anything.
So again, who's this for? Like.
I don't know. Anyway, this is we get the stormtroopers, nod, and then the kids try to escape because now everybody's trying to chase them.
Well, not even. Hold on. During this scene, when she gets nude and she gets the guy's thing on, then there's that fight.
That's right. There's a fight scene, and one of the stupid stormtroopers, because they are stormtroopers, because they aim like shit too.
Yeah, because there's one between both of them, and then one shoots at them and only kills his own guy.
Yeah, which is worse than actual stormtroopers, because this guy gets shot in the head and his head explodes, essentially, and there's blood on the ground and stuff.
It's so weird.
And so they escape, and so they're searching for them, and they're hiding in the vents, and this is where we get a fart joke.
That's what threw me off the movie. Like, I like a good fart joke, but like, what the why in this movie?
Yeah, and it's the only one in the movie, and it's for no reason.
Exactly.
This is where we go back. Who is this movie for?
Because I would have loved this movie. It would picked a certain direction and stuck with it, I feel.
And so when the guards searched the locker room where they were hiding above, they just come down into the locker room and stay there and talk very loudly.
Very loudly.
So that everyone can hear them, essentially. And so, but they're searching through the lockers to find clothes that fits Caitlin, because apparently when her power is... I forgot to mention, she hulked out, but she got super strength and stuff now, and she grew like 5 inches, and I guess her breast grew because they had to show that too.
Which is cool. Not the breast part, but I like that she's bigger now. She's smart, and she's got all the pros. She's
definitely taller than all the other characters now. She was like the same size.
But no, she's definitely bigger than Gronk, whatever his name is, right?
Yeah. Yes. And so they're searching through the lockers, and they find Olga's bra, because that's a joke. And they find this tiny little thing that apparently stretches to fit people. And for the rest of the movie, Caitlin's in like a green bikini.
It's always been
it's like a one-piece swimsuit, I think.
Yes. The one-piece swimsuit's got Kevlar that stretches, like they said. I've always hated that design because like her legs are so exposed. Like, what's the point of that?
That's true, but apparently she's also like bulletproof.
But she also gets like a bullet can kill her.
Well, you say that, but the guards come in and throw a grenade in at them, and apparently she took the brunt of that blast because her 2 friends survived, and she's sent through a wall, down a drain pipe, and wakes up with not a scratch on her.
I forgot about that. So yeah, how can she die then? She can't die, can she?
I don't know. I've literally read one comic of this, and I skimmed through the other 4.
Oh man, because they made it seem like the bullet killer in this movie. I bought into it.
Yeah, well, anyway, she wakes up in like a junkyard or something. I don't know. It looks like it's a bunch of crap around it. Where they are isn't very clear. It's like canyons and stuff. So the 2 helicopters showed up, and one of them tries to capture her with a net.
Yeah.
And I guess she's too heavy now, because apparently she weighs a ton. or something like that, because she puts her feet on a rock and pulls the helicopter down and smashes it. And then the other helicopter, she takes a giant boulder and smashes a guy in his cockpit with a... She's a murderer.
She's learning her strength still. Well, you know what? To be fair, self-defense.
Just saying. She's like 1930s Batman. She murders people.
She's 1930. She's a 10-year-old. She's like a 20-year-old trying to survive being attacked by these armed guards. I think it's justified. And she was just trying to find an infirmary.
She crushed one guy in a cockpit with a giant boulder.
Goddamn right she did. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the boulder hit the copter and it exploded.
Oh.
No, it crushes the cockpit. And then it goes down and it explodes. Just to accentuate that this guy is dead.
But he's a bad guy, so it's fine.
Yeah, of course. It's bad guy. Then a mech shows up, so now we're in a Gundam. Helga, as you said earlier, is driving this one. And there's a fight between Helga and Caitlin. And Caitlin, when knocking Helga off to her death, apparently. Goodbye, Helga.
It's kind of upset Helga went down that easily.
I don't actually know if she dies, because when she goes down and takes the mech, Caitlin, they show her still alive, but we never see her again.
Yeah, so I was like, I thought she would have like a redemption or something.
But she did say, Helga, as she was lying there unconscious, that she was her favorite student. Or did she say that beforehand? And there's tears in her eyes and stuff.
Which then why would she do this? Why would she attack her then?
Because it's her job.
It's okay, job or for someone's like that's just so makes no sense.
It doesn't matter. As she's fighting, after she's done fighting, apparently Caitlin's got premonitions now because she sees her friends being tortured. And then we cut over to the torture scene where the boss lady and Mark Hamill are torturing Jack Black and Roxy Cigarette Smoker.
Roxy Cigarette Smoker. You're just adding extra adverbs for this.
I've called her the whole time. You just have
adverbs, adjectives. What's the term for that?
Adjectives, something to describe. An adverb is something to describe an action.
Thank you. Do you think they're all like linked up? Do you think she's just linked up? Or do you think that's like a part of Roxy's powers? Or do you think they're just all mentally somewhat connected?
I don't know. They weren't very clear. I mean, I got the feeling they were all kind of somewhat mentally connected because I guess the gene therapy.
Okay.
So they're torturing the other two because they want information on why they're there because I guess they think they're government spies. But then the guy from earlier, GEN13 guy, shows back up, and so the boss lady leaves, leaving Mark Hamill there, and Mark Hamill just wants to torture them because he likes torturing them, and he wants to awaken their powers. And he kind of does, because Jack Black develops powers, and his powers is he can turn into any material that he touches. So if he touches metal, he can turn into metal. If he touches water, he can turn into water. Stuff like that. It's actually a pretty neat power.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And I've seen this power before, and I wonder if it's from GEN13 or if it was something else that I saw it from.
Where'd you see it from?
I don't remember.
Oh.
But I remember seeing it before, and I don't remember where I saw it before.
This does have heavy X-Men vibes, so like maybe they borrowed from each other.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was main DC stuff. No.
X-Men's Marvel.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want people yelling at you. That's all.
I don't care.
Okay.
Let them yell at me.
Okay.
Let them try and decipher all this comic book lore.
Don't say that, because there'll be one comic book fan who actually knows all this dumb, obscure shit.
Well, does he know every Image comic and every DC comic and every Marvel comic? Probably not.
She might.
Girls don't read comic books, God.
I know, right? I don't think girls aren't supposed to read in general. Just the ingredient box, am I right? That's stupid.
No.
God, forgive me.
No, girls read books, boys read comics.
Ah, fair. That's right.
So the two escape their torture, and then Caitlin breaks into the thing, but we get like a Looney Tunes moment where she walks into a compound and she sees all the guards and she tries to sneak back out. And then there's a giant fight because apparently now they want to kill her. They've been saying the whole movie, we got to catch her alive. She's awakened with powers, but now we have to kill her.
Now she's a threat. She killed some of our guys.
And because these other guys are coming in, I guess, but it still makes no sense.
This movie doesn't make sense.
Man. Anyway, the military's incoming with their airplanes. Jack Black. That's I went out of order.
So,
That note
where you
is
at?
from early. That one was early. Anyway, as I forgot to mention, after Jack Black gets his powers and he beats up Mark Hamill, he rescues Roxy, and then they kiss.
They kiss, and that helps him to power down. And that's the part I was laughing at, because I realized that when he's powered up, his tidy whities are over his whatever his skin. And then he powers down and he's like still wearing, it's just weird.
So he's in his underwear a lot, and so is Roxy.
Yes. A lot.
Which is weird that Caitlyn got the nude scene because she's usually covered up.
Exactly. They make the modest one. It's just a weird choices made for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we kind of get the final battle with the evil woman that's at the top of the thing, and she's a cyborg.
Pretty cool. Now, is she all cyborg, or is it just her arm?
I don't know.
Yeah, they don't detail.
It could be her arm, but when Jack Black breaks her arm off, there's still more computer parts or robot parts, so who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jessica Rabbit lady's hand turns into a whip, and she's got this whole dominatrix things going.
Thank you. It wasn't just me. Look, why does every female character have to have this going for them?
I don't know. Anyway, they feed her, so she tries to escape, and she does. She knocks out the rest of the students that she has, freezes them because I guess she has that technology. Gets in a helicopter and she escapes. The kids they kidnap a pilot trying to escape, and they escape in a helicopter. But as they're trying to escape, Mark Hamill shows back up and explodes his helicopter pilot's head, and you see teeth and stuff hit the freaking windshield.
Not even that. Like, first, before he explodes it, the guy's like, "Oh God, something's wrong with my head." His skin turns red, like blood red, and then you see it like explode, brain matter, teeth, eyeballs popping out. Like, Jesus Christ!
And then the helicopter explodes.
It's so fucking graphic.
And then the helicopter explodes, and all the kids are falling, and then Roxy's powers awaken. She didn't have superpowers earlier. And apparently she's got, like, gravity powers and a force shield and stuff.
Yeah, she's Mrs. Finn. No, it's Invisible Girl.
So now it's the kids versus Darth Cyclops, because that's pretty much what they wanted.
Yeah.
Might as well have been. And the fight goes on for a little while. Meanwhile, main lady girl blows up her tower while the military is trying to rescue people, but they get out in time. And then there's the fight, and it's fought to, and the three kids beat up Mark Hamill, and Caitlyn's about to kill Mark Hamill, but then military guy shows up and says, "You shouldn't kill him. She's your sister." And he's like, "No, that's not true."
It's impossible.
Pretty much.
So fucking.
Meanwhile, the explosion from the tower is caving in on them, so military guy gets everyone in the helicopter, but Mark Hamill stays behind. He's not going. And then they take off, and then Caitlyn tries to jump to him, but Roxy pulls her back in with her gravity powers, and then a boulder falls on top of Mark Hamill, or so we think.
I hate that so much.
And then we're in the helicopter. Roxy and Jack Black are kissing, and Caitlyn's all sad, and then military guy Jack shows up to her and says, "We couldn't find anybody." And she's like, "I know. He's probably dead." And then she's like, "Do you want to join my team and be a super team?" And then she's like, "Yes." And the other two were like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then we end. The end.
I wish I could say you rushed the ending, but that's exactly how it ended. My brother's dead. After I just found out I had a brother. Want to join a team? Sure. so terrible. So what'd you think of the movie?
I don't know what I thought about the movie.
Same.
It's not a good movie, but it kind of held my attention the entire time.
Yeah, because it's not terribly bad. It's like faults in logic for sure, but nothing to like really draw you out of the movie.
On a right-end technical and just all around pacing, it's a bad movie. The mess that it is kind of interesting, if that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
So it's a really weird, and we've said it 7 times throughout the entire podcast. I have no idea who this movie is for.
No, so it has an identity crisis for sure. If it would have picked a lane, it probably would have either been really beneficial or maybe really bad for the movie, honestly. So for what it is right now, I think it kind of helped it a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's because I would never watch it again.
No.
But at the same time, it's like, I would say if you've never seen it before, you probably should just to
yes.
experience it.
This is a movie I'll pull up clips for. Like the guy's head exploding in a helicopter. I would show my friends that. Like, oh, you guys got to see this scene from a movie I just watched. But,
yeah, it's like, it's strange. It's like, I can't recommend it, but I kind of can.
in a weird way, yeah.
Uh-huh. I definitely say don't show your kids it.
But then again, don't show your adult friends it either. Who do you show this to?
Yeah, I know.
You show it to a teenager.
Yeah, you got a teenage nephew or brother or something.
Oh, man. So what are you going to rate this movie?
I think I have to go 5.
Oh, man, me too.
I think I have to, because I can't decide whether it's good or bad. So this is one of those ones, the more you analyze it, the more confused you just get. That doesn't bring it down. It's like, why are we doing this?
Right. Because it makes no sense. Like, why are they trying to activate the genes in them and then try to kill them, maybe?
Yeah, it's like the whole movie's a contradiction of itself.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, am I gonna be an adult movie or a child's movie, or am I gonna be kiddie with fart jokes, or am I gonna be serious and exploding heads? It's like,
are we gonna
just
show
throw it all in there. Someone was like, just throw it all in there. It'll work. It's fine.
This shower sequence between 2 girls, no nudity, but this girl turning into a mutant, pure nudity. Like, what? What's going on?
You want stormtroopers in there? Throw it in there,
right?
Let's get Luke Skywalker to play our bad guy. Okay, let's do that.
It's so random.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, because it's not so bad. It's good. It's just so weird. It's watchable.
Yeah, it's weird that you need to experience it, but it's not like one of those things like you hear about either, though. You know?
Yeah, because I never heard of this before.
Yeah, I know, and not even from reviewers or anything out there. I've never seen anybody review this movie.
No. Which is weird because, like I said, it's not atrocious. Maybe because it's like right down the middle of the lane, no one's heard of it because of that reason.
Right, but I don't know. But it's like seems like right down the alley of those online critics who would go out of their way to watch bad movies or something. Like, check this movie out. This is what this is.
Yes.
Oh, and we should explain. We keep calling it GEN13, but I don't know if it's actually called that, because it's Gen, and then the 13's up, like, it should be squared. I don't know what the 13 is when it's up there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they made it really hard to find because of that, honestly.
Yeah.
So happy hunting. If you want to watch this.
Like I said, I found it on an anime, like a site that you watch anime on, like a list of anime and stuff, and that was the only place I can find it. So.
Yeah. I mean, hell, we found Fantastic Four, so.
That's fair. We're pretty good at finding remote things.
Oh, man.
I mean, it is easier these days with all these,
Yeah. I mean,
stuff.
Someone's heard of it on a stream website.
So, yeah. I don't know.
Huh?
I guess that's GEN13. I'm done talking to these idiots.
Yeah, and review.
I think more people should read in general.
Yeah, there we go. Say that again.
If I ask you what's the last book you read and you can't answer me, that's the wrong answer.
Oh my god, my last book's been a while, but I remember it's sitting right over here. I need to get new books. No, it's sad. I have books I haven't read in my room, but I need new ones.
I have a whole bookshelf of books I haven't read, but I still read books.
Exactly. Humans, we're weird. I do the same thing with movies. I have a whole thing of movies I haven't seen. What's something else?
Yeah, I have not thousands, but like dozens of movies.
Yeah. That
just sit there, and I don't think I've seen half of them. But that's because I don't watch movies.
That's fair.
I don't know how we went on this tangent. Anyway.
You had to get your soapbox for a second. What was the last book I read? I think this was that one. The Predator comic books from Dark Horse.
No, that doesn't count. Comic books are different from regular books.
Oh, so the last real book I read?
Yeah, the last real book you read.
Oh my god, that's been a minute. Hold on, I gotta think now. It was something I thoroughly enjoyed.
I read comic books every week.
I know you do. Oh, this is a good question. Because there's some books I've read that I really enjoy, but I cannot even think of the name. Yeah, no idea.
I just finished From Russia with Love, which is a 007.
Well, not counting those books, what else have you read last?
The last book that I read was the Halfling Gem, which is a Dritz the Orden story from D&D.
Oh, I always want to read some D&D books. We are on a weird tangent. It's like, are they?
And before that, I read the most recent Witcher book.
Oh, sorry. We were talking about this. You're trying to get me into that. That's right.
Yeah, the most recent one. Not the last one that was released, but he released another one, I think it was.
Oh.
So I was reading that one.
There's a show on Netflix called Shadow and Bone. I think it's based off a young adult series. Have you heard of that?
I think I've heard of it, but I've never read it.
Oh, okay. Because I want to know, because I hated the show. I just wanted to see if the books were any better or not. Because I figured you read it because you like that genre. So
I read all different genres.
Oh yeah, I know.
But it just happened to be like I said, I'm reading 007 right now. I think I'm reading which one am I on? Dr. No right now.
That's the first movie though, isn't it?
Yeah. Alright, can I get back to this now?
Yeah.